Hello everyone, welcome to episode 6 of Building Prehistoric Islands. Last episode, we finished the 4th island in this park by building a fossil dig site and Eutyrannus enclosure. Today, we construct a walkthrough habitat populated by small and medium-sized herbivores. Let's start off with the Jeep tour that is on this hill. Call me a negative person for saying this, but I do think that deciding to put the Jeep tour up high ruined the entire island. I mean, look at this path design. Elevating the Jeeps made the planters clip through the path, and I do not like it when this happens. It just doesn't look that realistic. There are of course some exceptions, but this is just bad. Right below the Jeep, there's a restroom. Yes, a restroom. The last 4 islands I built in this park didn't have bathrooms, but this one does! There's also this waiting area made up of these thin, long benches, 12 to be precise, and some trash bins. You will find out what this waiting area is for very, very soon. You might have spotted this viewing tower right here. It gets a good aerial view of the enclosure, but this tower won't be the only place you can see the dinosaurs. This emergency shelter here is the thing that people will wait for on the benches, but it's not actually used as an emergency shelter. It is a pathway into the enclosure. Inside the shelter, you will have to sign a form that says, if you get injured walking into this enclosure, it is not the park's fault. Once you do that, you can go into the enclosure with a guide to tell you what you're looking at. I know I could have used the gate on Pathglyphs, but since this island isn't accessible to guests, I decided to use the emergency shelter to make things a bit more different. More about this very soon. Back outside the enclosure, there's a fountain surrounded by chairs. Although there's no amenity here, I still had to put the chairs in to fill the space a bit more. There's also a Dominion light right here because without it, it would look extremely boring. I feel like I say that stuff way too often. There are also these rock planters that keep people from walking into the water and drowning. They've done a pretty good job. Ever since we installed these guys into the park, death rates by drowning have gone down by 2%. Yeah, it's still pretty unsafe. I also built this bridge to connect the island to itself. The bridge is built over this river, which is the main water source for this island's creatures. The rocks under the bridge are used so that it gives the illusion that this body of water is a river that is going under the bridge, and not just a giant natural swimming pool. There are concrete barriers on both sides of the bridge, and they exist for the same reason the rock planters are here. To stop people from diving into the water nearby. The pylons here are the things that really made it look like a bridge. Bridges always have those things on top of them that are just hanging. And the pylons look like those things on top of bridges that are hanging. And to top it all off, I used some tree planters on each of the pylons, just to make it more welcoming. On the other side of the bridge, there are some forest trees on one side of the path and ginkgo on the other. I decided to use ginkgo on this side because ginkgo is much smaller than the forest trees. Because of that, I could fit more of them in. The path of course has some concrete barriers on them, just so people don't go running into the trees. The concrete barriers lead to the second emergency shelter on this island, which is the ending point for the herbivore trail. Again, I don't quite like the design of the path, but trust me, it looks so much better in first person. Have a look at this. See? Everything looks better in first person. Yeah, let's stay away from the restroom. The invisible fencing is the type of fencing to keep the dinosaurs inside of their enclosures in this island. The invisibility just makes the enclosure look so much bigger, even though it isn't. This dirt terrain paint is the thing that makes people know where they're going when they're on this trail. If you're ever lost, just follow the dirt. Just to make it clearer where the dirt is, nothing makes the dirt disconnect. These plants over here do kinda make the dirt fade, but it's still okay. There's also this bump in elevation over here, just so we have some variety in elevation. And now, I will not be your host, but instead, I will be your tour guide, guiding you through this path and telling you about the wildlife. This will basically be me reacting to my own footage because the audio and gameplay were recorded in separate times. Hello everyone, I am your tour guide for today on the Herbivorous Dinosaur Trail. I will be here to teach you about the wildlife and the dinosaurs and just the history of this wonderful trail. Now, the track over here seems a bit faded. We're gonna need to tell staff about this so no one gets lost. None of the free roamers who don't have a tour guide. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's much dinosaurs right now. They might be a bit shy. I heard that one of the Nesiosauruses were sick. Oh, well, right here we have a Euoplocephalus, an armored herbivore, much like the Ankylosaurus. It's much smaller than the Ankylosaurus, and it also has a clubbed tail like the Ankylosaurus. Let's see here. Oh yes, those trees in the background right there. Those were actually here before the enclosure was actually built. Originally we were gonna remove them, but we found out the dinosaurs could eat them, so we really just kept them there. Now, this dirt path right here, it's pretty good. We don't need some replacing here. Let's see. There's not much to talk about right now, but I think we might be approaching something. I'm not sure what. Oh yes, right. To the right here, we have a body of water. It's the river that connects us. Well, connects the water to the rest of the world. That did not make sense at all. Mind my English. This is like the 48th time I've been on this trail today, so I'm very tired. We just passed by a Chasmosaurus. It's a ceratopsian. You can identify ceratopsians by their unique frill and their 3 horns protruding out of their face. And yeah, we are almost about to end this trail. I'm so sorry that we didn't see much wildlife, but there were some dinosaurs, so you know, that's a good thing. If you want to stay here longer, you can be one of the free roamers who are staying here without the tour guide. You can stay here for 30 minutes if you want, and that's more than enough time for you to take photos with the dinosaurs, which we have actually trained to know how to take a photo with someone, which is pretty cool. Anyway, we hope to see you again next time. I'm gonna go retire now. If you didn't catch it in that segment of the video, let me just clarify that there are 2 Nesiosauruses, 2 Euoplocephalus, and 3 Chasmosaurus in this enclosure. Now, let's get to the dino footage. And now, let's get to naming. Jurassic Jaws has decided to name all of the Eutyrannus after well-known SpongeBob characters. He also told me to associate the name with the dinosaur that looked most like the character. So here we go. We have Sandy, SpongeBob, Plankton, Patrick, and Squidward. I did say not to hog the names, but this is an exception because, well, if you're gonna name one dinosaur SpongeBob, why not get the rest of the gang in? Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. You might also like this Amargasaurus walkthrough habitat video I made. You can also join the Paleopark's Discord server, which is linked in the description. Have a great day, and see you next time. If you didn't catch it, that's it.